Hi all, this is Peru. I got introduced to the community to improve my digestive health. I fixed it and now I'm helping a lot more people through the community. Today I'm going to share about how you can protect your bones. So many of you would have seen people who have knee pain who will say that I have osteoporosis. You would have seen people who would say that I'm not able to lift something heavy. So let's find the answers to those. Why are they getting all those things? So let us start with certain myths and facts. I want you to be ready with your chat box. So I'll be asking you a couple of questions. You have to say whether it is a myth or a fact. If you think it is a myth, type M in the chat box. If you think it is a fact, type F in the chat. So my first one. Yeah. Do you think drinking milk is the only way to build your bones? It is a myth or it is a fact. Type M if you think it is a myth. Type F if you think it is a fact. Yeah, almost all of you have got it right. It is a myth. While milk is a good source of calcium, there are a lot of other foods that will help to improve your bone. Like it can be leafy green vegetables, it can be almonds, it can be nuts, it can be fatty fishes. All these things help in improving your bone strength. The next one. So, breaking a bone makes it stronger when it heals. So, what do you think? Is it a myth or a fact? Like people say, I got fracture, now I'll be stronger than before. So, it is a myth or a fact. Okay, lot of M's. Yeah, this time also almost all of you have got it right. When you get a fracture or when you break a bone, a callus will get developed at the fracture site, making it thicker. But it will eventually fade away. So a broken bone is inherently weaker than how it was before. So it is better to safeguard your bones. Hmm. Okay, the last one. Bone health can be improved even in older adults. What do you think? Is it a myth or a fact? Type M for myth and type F for fact. Yeah, good. This has a combination of it. Yeah. So actually, it is a fact. Irrespective of your age, you can improve your bone health by doing certain things like weight bearing exercises, resistant training, taking nutrient rich diets, and avoiding alcohol, avoiding smoking. All these things can help to improve your bone health. So, what are the foods that will help you improve your bone strength? Many of us know about calcium, phosphorus, and protein. So dairy products are high in calcium and protein, and it will help to improve your bone health. That is like products like milk, cheese, yogurts. Those are rich in calcium. And second is leafy green vegetables. So milk is not the only product which is rich in calcium. The leafy green vegetables like spinach, kale, broccoli, they are also rich in calcium and vitamin K. And why do you need vitamin K? Calcium helps in bone formation, whereas vitamin K helps in bone density. That is why calcium and vitamin K both play a role in bone strength. And fatty fish like salmons, mackerel, sardines, tuna, these are rich in vitamin D and omega 3s. And why omega 3s are important? Only when omega 3 is high in your body, the communication between all the cells happen properly. So that is where omega-3 is important. And nuts and seeds are high in magnesium and phosphorus. They help in making sure the bones function properly. So you can include foods like sesame seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, almonds, walnuts. All these will help to strengthen your bones. And the eggs. Eggs are a good source of vitamin D and protein. So these are the foods that you can try to include in your everyday diet that will help improve your bone strength. So now coming to the most important thing. You have strengthened your bone, but what is the most important thing to do to protect your bones? The most important thing to do to protect your bones is to keep the pH of your blood between 7.35 and 7.45 and your cell's pH at 6.5. So what is this pH? pH is potency of hydrogen. When you dissolve acid in water, it releases hydrogen atoms. And when you dissolve alkaline compound in water, it releases hydroxyl atoms. So if you have a pH of 0, it is acidic. And if you have a pH of 14, it is alkaline. And water is supposed to be at pH of 7, which is neutral. But nowadays, tap water has chlorine and fluoride presence, which makes it slightly towards acidic. So we have to leave it for half an hour at least so that the chlorine and fluoride evaporate so that it becomes neutral. And if your blood pH goes to 7.22, that is towards acidic side, we will die of acidosis. And if your blood pH goes to 7.8, we will die of alkalosis. That's how important keeping the blood pH is. So what is the connection between this blood pH and your bone strength? So bones store calcium carbonate and calcium phosphate. And calcium is the most alkaline mineral. That means if your blood becomes too acidic due to junk food eating, sleepless nights, or stressful work, that will all make your blood acidic. So as I told you, if your blood pH goes below 7.22, you will die of acidosis. So what will the body do? Body will try to make your blood alkaline. So it needs alkaline compounds. Where do they stay? It stays in your bones as calcium. So the blood will take the calcium from your bones and make sure that your blood's pH is neutral. Over time, this excessive calcium loss will weaken bones and it will increase the risk of osteoporosis. And not only that, this excess calcium that enters the blood, it will slowly come into your gallbladder, causing gallstones. It may go into your kidney, causing kidney stones. That's why doctors say you have calcium crystals in your kidney. That is not because you are eating more calcium, it is because you are eating more of other foods that are making your blood acidic. That is how you are getting calcium stones in your kidneys. Uh, and sometimes this excess calcium in blood will be put on the bone itself, outside of the bone. That is what is called as a bone spur. And whenever you get things like this, like bone spur, a natural remedy is to use castor oil compression. But since it's a natural remedy, it will take time. If you have a bone spur for almost 3 years, it will at least take 3 months of castor oil compression to get rid of this bone spurs. So that is how it leads to osteoporosis because your blood pH goes towards acidicity because of your lifestyle. So now how to keep the pH of blood in your normal range? So you have to take more of alkaline foods and avoid acidic foods. So let's look at some of them. So what are the alkaline foods? Lemon is the most alkaline food. It has alkaline minerals like calcium, sodium, makes it alkaline. It also has magnesium. Most of us think lemon is acidic because it's a citrus fruit and has ascorbic acid in it. But when it gets mixed with our saliva, it becomes alkaline. That is why it is always important to chew our food and eat any juices by sipping rather than using a straw. The next thing is green leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, all these are alkaline in nature. And millets like little millet, kodo millet, foxtail, jowar, amaranth, rajgira, all these are alkaline in nature. So you can try to include more of these in your diet. And almonds and Brazil nuts are alkaline in nature. Soak the almonds before you eat it so that it improves the alkalinity in it. Okay, so coming to acidic foods. These are the foods that we should avoid. First is meat. We always think meat is a lot of protein, but actually when you eat meat, only 42% of it gets digested. 58% of it gets converted into waste product, which is sulfuric acid. So when the sulfuric acid is released, your body again becomes acidic. That's where we have to avoid it. And caffeine like coffee, tea, energy drinks, it makes your body acidic. Alcohol and smoking. So when you take alcohol, it gets converted to acetaldehyde in the liver. And this acetaldehyde is a neurotoxin. That means it will affect your brain function. So it is best to avoid alcohol and smoking. Cheese. Actually, a fresh cheese or feta cheese is good, but not the processed ones. Nowadays, we get a lot of processed cheese, which is better to avoid. And sugar. A lot of us know we should avoid sugar. I'm speaking about the crystallized sugar, the refined sugar. It makes our body acidic. Instead, take plant-based ones like stevia. Okay, what are the foods which are both alkaline and acidic? Yeah, so capsicum, tomato, potato, eggplant. So whenever you eat a capsicum, you have to make sure that you remove the seeds from the capsicum because the seeds have a product called lectin. So lectins are naturally occurring proteins in the plants to protect the plant from insect pest. But when we eat those lectins, it becomes acidic in our body. So you have to make sure we remove the seeds of this and then we eat them. Legumes. All legumes except lima beans, broad beans, that is mochai, all these things have some sort of acidity in them. We have to make sure we rinse them thoroughly before we use them. When we rinse them, the lectins go off and it becomes alkaline. Fruits. Some of us eat unripe fruits. Unripe fruits have lectins and it is acidic in our body. So we have to eat only ripe fruits. Also, fruits have fructose sugar. If your body has the yeast presence, then this yeast will feed on that fructose sugar and it will produce acetic acid, uric acid, and again alcohol. As I told you earlier, alcohol gets converted to acetaldehyde, which is not good for our brain and it makes our body acidic. And quinoa and buckwheat, they don't have gluten in them, but we have to make sure we soak it for 24 hours so that the lectins in them go off. So we have to take more of alkaline foods and less of acidic foods. And I want to cover a bit more on the sugar. So there are three kinds of starch compounds: amylopectin A, B, and C. These are the three types of sugars. So amylopectin A releases sugar quickly. That means once you eat them, it releases the sugar quickly. This amylopectin A was not a natural one. It was created by wheat hybridization. What do I mean by wheat hybridization? The wheat that we are currently eating is mostly hybrid. The first form of wheat was called Einkenhorn or Inkhorn, but it had a fragile gluten and protein structure. That means it cannot be transported to long distances, so it cannot be commercialized. That's when that Einkenhorn wheat was hybridized with the field grass to produce something called emmer wheat. And again, that emmer wheat was again hybridized with the field grass to produce the modern wheat. And when you eat the modern wheat, it releases sugar quickly into the blood. So there is a blood spike, and any blood sugar spike, and any blood sugar spike is not good for our body. Um, so there is a metric called glycemic index, which rates foods on how quickly it releases sugar into the blood. We should eat foods with lower glycemic index. A lot of people with diabetes tend to avoid sugar, but if you see, sugar has the glycemic index of only 55, which is lower than wheat 69. So actually, wheat is more harmful for diabetic patients than sugar. Coming to amylopectin B. Amylopectin B releases sugar slowly than A, but amylopectin C is the best. So in amylopectin B, good food is banana. So banana has a lot of magnesium. If you have sleep issues, you can take it in the night. It is good for children, but if you are diabetic, you should avoid it since it has fruit sugar also. Amylopectin C releases the sugar slowly. That means blood sugar spikes and drops steadily. That is good for our body. If you are having cancer, then amylopectin C is the best foods to have. So our legumes like lima beans, mochai or broad beans, lentils, the dal, and soy are all on amylopectin C. So what are the key takeaways? So all grains except millets, amaranth, buckwheat, kamut, quinoa, spelt, and sorghum have some acidic effect. All legumes except lima beans, lentils, and soy have some acidic effect. All nuts except almonds and brazil nuts have some acidic effect. So balance is the key. So 70 to 80% of your diet should come from alkaline food, and 20 to 30% of your diet should come from acidic food. And within that 20 to 30%, 90% should come from the foods listed above, which is legumes, grains, and nuts. So these are the things that we should follow. When we follow this, our bones become strong, and we make sure that we protect the bone also. So thank you for being a wonderful audience. It was nice speaking to you.